The buying options in the world today are seemingly endless, but do we really need it all? I've done a personal assessment and determined that there are 25 things I am absolutely not buying this year. My husband and I have been living as minimalists for over 5 years now, and we have now reached the point that I like to call maintenance mode. Instead of focusing on really large decluttering sessions like we used to do, we have switched our focus over to being more intentional and thoughtful about the things that are being brought into our home. So each year we try to do a bit of preparation and sit down and talk about any large, big ticket items that we may be purchasing throughout the upcoming months. And we do this for a couple of reasons. One, to keep us accountable and really identify the things that we truly want or need, and also to really fine-tune our savings goals for those items. And because of these larger items that we do want to purchase, we also think about some things that we might be able to cut out to save the expense of these things to help us to afford the things that we truly do want and need. And so I have a list today that identifies those 25 things we will not be putting our purchasing power, our money toward. And at the end of the list, I want to share with you some of the larger items that we will be saving towards. The first thing on the list that I will not be buying is napkins. I made the swap about 6 months ago from paper napkins to the cloth variety, and I bought enough of them so that we can use them throughout the week and then just wash them at the end of the week. It's been working out really well for us. Number 2 is coffee pods. My husband is actually the only one in our house that drinks coffee. I don't like the taste of it, although I do like the smell. And it's very convenient for him to just grab a coffee pod, a K-cup, and put it in the machine for a single cup of coffee. But we found that those pods, not only are they not very healthy, they create a lot of waste, and he has agreed with me that we will, going forward, just be focusing on coffee beans that he can ground at home for ultimate freshness. We will not be buying any new furniture pieces. When it comes to maintaining a comfortable and inviting home, furniture is usually near the top of the list of wants. A lot of the furniture in our home has been around for quite a while. This couch, for example, is over 12 years old. And if you look really close, you will see that it is definitely showing its age. But our theory is that while our kids are still at home, we want to have furniture that we don't need to fuss about. And so we are continuing to put off the purchase of anything new in this category. Number 4 on the list is wall clocks. Nope, I still don't see a need to buy any. Every single time that I mentioned wall clocks on my videos about them being clutter to me, I get a lot of comments from people who say that they could not live without their wall clocks, and that is great for you. I don't know if it's because my husband and I are both home pretty much all day long. We have access to our computers and our phones very easily. We just don't have a need for a clock on the wall, and so we won't be buying one again this year. Number 5, anti-aging products such as face creams, hair dye, or even something as extreme as Botox. I do not buy into all of that marketing hype that goes along with it. I'm aging, we all are, and no anti-aging product is going to slow down time. It's going to happen normally. And so all I can do is what is best for my body, make sure I eat healthy, drink enough water, get good exercise, fresh air, and do the best I can with what I have. I will not be putting any money toward manicures or pedicures, or really any nail polish, nail type of care products for that matter. I'm not sure what it is about my fingernails specifically, but they do not hold polish well. It falls off really pretty much right away. And I've tried different things. I've tried the gels, I've tried all sorts of different products in the past, and nothing seems to work. Also, my fingernails are pretty round, and when I'm wearing nail polish, it almost feels to me like it looks like I'm wearing stickers on my fingers. It doesn't look very feminine at all. And so for me, using nail polish or spending money on a professional to care for my nails is really just throwing money straight into the trash. Number 7, DVDs. We do still have a very small collection of some select favorite DVDs that we keep around, but being completely honest, it's so rare that we even watch them. If it were up to me, I think the DVDs would probably be decluttered, but my husband is not quite ready to part with them just yet. But that's okay, they aren't hurting anything really or taking up much space at all. I can just say with pretty much 100% certainty that the collection we have of DVDs will not be growing this year. I will not be buying a new shower curtain. Okay, here's the thing. This one might seem oddly specific, but we have a tension rod in our closet that goes from tile to tile, and one of the walls of our shower is actually an exterior wall. And so the problem we're facing is that during the winter months when it's colder outside and that wall gets a little bit colder, there's some shrinking or something that happens that causes that tension rod to fall. We've looked into getting some sort of brackets so that we can hang the curtain above the tile, which is probably what we're going to end up doing. But the problem is that our shower curtain then will not go all the way down to the floor. And so I've looked around for some different options. Nothing really seemed to stand out to me as something I'd want to buy, and so I've decided that I'm going to just be adding an extra layer, an extra ruffle, if you will, down to the bottom of the curtain to make up for the gap. And actually, I've already had to do this once with this curtain, and it's worked out just fine. And so this is a bathroom. It doesn't need to be a showpiece, and I think it'll be a fun little DIY project. Number 9, I have committed to no longer buying any store-bought granola. This one is fresh on my decision list, and that's because it's been on my mind. As you know, I'm trying to reduce my sugar intake throughout the year and going forward, and I like granola as a healthy snack or treat, but I've found that many of the options available are actually pretty high in sugar. And so I found a recipe online that I really like, and I tried it out just this last week and realized that it's not complicated at all to make granola, and I actually prefer the taste of it. And so I'm really excited about this one. It's not going to save us a ton of money, but it is going to be something that will keep us in line with our health goals as well. Number 10, cleaning products. We are on, I think, year 3 of not buying any cleaning products from the store or bringing any of those harsh chemicals into our home. I have found a very simple, easy recipe, if you will, for a multi-purpose cleaning spray that I use on all sorts of things, from our mirrors to our counters to even the toilets. And it has worked out so well. It keeps things fresh and clean without any of the bad side effects. I won't be buying any new organizational containers this year. Now, I am not against organizing containers at all. In fact, I believe that micro-organization, or being able to really simplify the amount of things that are held in any given container, is actually one of the keys to success, and so I do promote that. However, we have a lot of organization containers throughout our home, and the systems seem to be working really well for us, and so at this moment in time, we have all that we need. Number 12, toxic or harmful cooking tools. Our pots, pans, and even some utensils are going to need to be replaced somewhat soon, and I've made it my mission to do so in the healthiest way possible. The problem is that it's a little overwhelming, the amount of options that are available. One thing I'm considering is cast iron, which I tried years and years ago. I didn't like it when the food would stick to it, and I maybe was doing something wrong or didn't have a high quality cast iron pan, I'm not sure, but I'm feeling a little overwhelmed even just doing the research. And so if you could help me out, give me some suggestions of pots, pans, different things that you use in your kitchen for cooking that are a healthier alternative to maybe the nonstick variety or silicone or something like that, I would love to hear about that in the comment section. That would really help me out. I won't be buying any meal kits again this year. And actually, I've never bought any meal kits. I'm talking about things like HelloFresh, or there's a new one called Hungry Root. These are probably super convenient for people who are super busy, or they work outside their home and they want to just cut down on some of the steps of creating a healthy meal for themselves or their family. I'm home pretty much all the time. I have access to my kitchen 24/7, and I can pop in there and do bits of meal prep throughout the day so that it's not super overwhelming for me to make a meal for my family. And so I really don't need the kits. Also, I feel like buying the groceries and then just using them up throughout the week or 2 weeks between groceries really is a little bit cheaper, and so probably saving money a bit that way. And speaking of groceries, we also are not going to be putting any of our money toward grocery delivery. I'll admit that this is another thing that I've never tried. It's probably super convenient. I do know that there's an extra fee typically involved with grocery delivery, but I usually am in town doing various errands at least once or twice a week, and so it's not a big deal for me to pop over to a store and get my groceries. And I will say though that a couple years ago I hadn't even tried grocery pickup, and since then I have tried it and I really have loved that option. It's saved me a lot of time, a lot of stress, being able to just get to the store, open the trunk of my vehicle and get the groceries loaded in. I'm in and out in 5 minutes or less. It's really been a game changer for me. So grocery pickup, yes. Grocery delivery, no. Number 15 is jewelry. Considering that I haven't even worn jewelry in the past maybe 3 years or so, besides my wedding ring, of course, I definitely don't have any plans to buy more. Number 16, I will not be buying perfumes or body sprays. I tend to be pretty specific when it comes to smells, and anytime I have used a perfume or been close to someone who uses a strong perfume, I have a sneezing attack, and so it's best to me to just avoid it altogether. Number 17, holiday decorations, and I want to put a disclaimer on this for Christmas. Although I don't foresee buying anything new Christmas decoration wise, there is a slight chance I might need to replace something like Christmas tree lights. And so I wanted to just keep that on there. But in terms of other holidays, if I ever feel the need, like I want to decorate for a holiday, I have really good access to arts and craft supplies that I can make something really festive. But generally speaking, I just decorate for the seasons and not any specific holiday. I will not be buying any plastic straws or cutlery. We use these items so infrequently that the stash we're pulling from now was purchased probably 3 years ago, if not longer, no joke. I have plans to use up what we have and then not buy anything new in that category. And we've found more sustainable options that I think work even better, such as our metal reusable straws, which are great for smoothies. Number 19, phone cases. When I upgraded my phone about a year ago, I found a case that has extra durability. That is the primary purpose of the case, in my opinion. And although there are many cute and fun options out there, I'm perfectly content to just stick with the one I have. Number 20, I am happy to take off my buy list, and that is spiral notebooks. These things, they make such a mess. I do realize that they have the perforation slightly inside the margin where you should, in theory, be able to tear the page off cleanly, but as we all know, kids don't always have the patience for that. I don't feel like I always have the patience for that, and those little bits of paper crumbs, they get everywhere, make a huge mess. They remind me of the annoyance of packing peanuts or that type of packing material. Just so annoying to me. And so going forward, I'm going to avoid that stress and stick with either loose leaf paper or flatly bound paper notebooks. Next up is any fast fashion items. These are clothing items that are made cheaply and sold for a really low price, which is why I think people tend to gravitate toward buying them, because they're definitely not very good quality. There are a lot of websites out there now that push this fast fashion, and I don't agree with their business practices, so I want to avoid them altogether. What I like to do instead is really to buy clothing items that are classic and will last me a really long time. Honestly, I have a track record of keeping clothing for decades or longer. My winter coat, for example, is nearing the 25-year mark, which is, I'd say, a pretty good return on investment. And on that topic of clothing, I'm also not going to be buying anything that is only going to be worn for one special occasion or dress up event. Items that might fall in this category include Halloween costumes, maybe an ugly sweater for a party of some sort, or a fancy ballroom gown or dress. If I can only see myself wearing a clothing item one time, it's definitely not going to be worth my money. Number 23, light fixtures, including lamps and overhead lighting options. If you're a frequent visitor of my channel, you'll know that I did buy a new fixture to rotate with the one we had above our dining table this past summer. And many of you were very concerned that we replaced it, but we didn't. This lower profile fixture that we have in right now, it just allows us to have more flexibility when it comes to rearranging furniture in this open space. And quite soon, probably in just a few months' time, we will rotate the other fixture back in. As far as any other lighting options go, they just aren't needed right now. I won't be buying any physical books this year, with the exception of any homeschool curriculum that I need to purchase for my daughter's education. Now, the library is probably my primary source of reading material. They have a huge selection. It's always available. I haven't had very many issues at all finding books that I want to read. If there does happen to be a bestseller or a new release that it's hard for me to get my hands on, I've found that audiobooks tend to be a great resource as well. In rounding out this list, number 25, I won't be buying into other people's opinions. I realize that opinions are not a physical item, but they can save money and can save clutter happening in our homes. I am resolving to keep firm in my belief that marketing does not need to sway my opinions, and neither does the opinions of other people. I can't tell you how many times I get comments about how I should buy something to put on the bare walls of our house, or that our spaces are boring and cold. Well, I need to remember that is the commenter's opinion, not my own, and opinions are not instructions that I need to follow. Enough said. Now, I promised that I would talk briefly about some of the bigger ticket items that we will be spending our money on. The first thing is some sort of food composter. And we have tried in the past more of a mechanical system where you layer food scraps with twigs, and layer after layer it kind of builds up, and this does work really well. It's just kind of slow, and the location where we have ours out by the garden isn't very convenient. So I want something maybe just a garbage can size that can be more accessible. Maybe we could put it in the garage, for example, and I can just dump those kitchen scraps right away. I've noticed now that we are trying to eat more fruits and vegetables, we produce a lot more waste, especially with a family of 7, and so having that convenient option will just allow me to ensure that I am making that effort to compost those scraps instead of throwing them in the trash. The second thing that we really want to buy are a couple of single-person kayaks that we can use on our backyard pond. We have a nice pond back there, and we want to just be able to get out and enjoy it a little bit, maybe get some exercise by paddling around the pond a few times. And this is something we've actually talked about for quite a few years, but we feel now that our kids are old enough where they could also be able to take advantage and enjoy the kayaks. And so I think this is finally the year that we're going to make this purchase. And finally, I'm going to be on the market to purchase a couple of rugs this year. Our living room rug, the backing is starting to disintegrate. It's really a cheap rug that we've had for a very, very long time. It's also undersized for the space, and it kind of bothers me a little bit, not enough to have purchased anything before now, but I'm at the point now where the rug needs to be replaced, and so I'm going to be looking into buying something larger for that space, and also a new rug for our girls' bedroom. They currently have a rug that has a pretty high profile, and a lot of things get kind of stuck in it. It's hard to keep clean, so I want to buy something that's a little bit more thin, easy for them to maintain. So those are the 3 main purchases that we are for sure going to have on our list of things that we want to put our money toward this year. I think that making a list like this is a really good exercise and giving yourself the feeling of power over your purchases. Realizing that maybe there are some things in this category over here that you don't want to spend your money on, you feel like you could do more sustainably, or they're just not in line with your values and goals, and then transferring that over to the things that you truly do want or need in your life and making that distinction between the two. So I would encourage you to try out this exercise, and I'd love to hear your comments about them if you have any different ideas about things that you could eliminate from your life or things that you really want to put your efforts toward. As always, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope that you'll stop back again really soon.